It's off to Arlington, Texas, as the Wisconsin Badgers take their 10-3 record to the 2017 Cotton Bowl. The January 2nd matchup against the Western Michigan Broncos, unbeaten Western Michigan, champions of the Mid-American Conference. Clearly an outstanding season for the Badgers as they surpassed at least the outside expectations of most en route to this 10-win season and a berth in the Big Ten championship game for the fourth time in the 6-year existence of that event. We'll recap the season, talk about some of the standout players with the Badgers head coach, and also look ahead a bit to the Cotton Bowl matchup with Western Michigan. All that coming up on today's edition of the Badger Sports Report.
Chryst and Surly with a look over, barks out the signals as he goes across the line of scrimmage. Takes a high snap, trying to run it down inside the 20. It's still loose. It's scooped up by Ryan Conley at the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown, Wisconsin! Ryan Conley on the scoop and the score as the Badger defense does it again. O'Connor takes the snap, gives it to Scott, running off the left side. The ball's knocked loose inside the 35, scooped up by Musso at the 40, left side to the 50. Musso 45 to the 40, spins away from O'Connor at the 30, at the 20, at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Wisconsin! Leo Musso, the scoop and the score from a long ways away. Snap to Houston. He'll give it to Ogunbowale, trying to stretch to the left, inside the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Wisconsin! Dare Ogunbowale from 11 yards away, and the Badgers lead in overtime. A defensive clinic brought to you by Jack Sitchy. To the end zone. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Goodbye. Touchdown, Corey Clement. Pressure coming from Beagle. Oh, he was shot out of a cannon. Win number 10 for the Wisconsin Badgers.
The Badger Sports Report is brought to you by the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. By Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle, Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers. By UW Health, UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Fresh Daily. It's as much about what we do at your neighborhood Quick Trip Fresh Market as what you want to do for your family. So now you can pick up everything on your list, from the fresh milk, bread, and produce you've always known us for, to even more healthy veggies, premium meats, flavorful sides, and you bet, desserts.
Stop in for bananas, baking potatoes, or jumbo onions for just 38 cents a pound. Every day at your neighborhood Quick Trip Fresh Market.
See you next time.
Wow, you're really festive?
Well, this time of year, there's plenty to be festive about.
Like what?
You smell like nutmeg.
Like the Hyundai Holiday Sales Event. It's your last chance of the year to save big on every new Hyundai.
Oh, I'm feeling more festive already.
Wait, did you say save big?
Yep.
Oh, I think I hear holiday music now.
Oh, no, that's just my ringtone.
Better is the reason to buy Hyundai. This is just one of the reasons to buy now. Get up to $2,500 off the new Sonata during Hyundai holidays.
This is Lexi Rush. She's 10, and she's amazing. You see, Lexi was born deaf and couldn't hear anything. That was until her doctor in Appleton referred her to the pediatric specialists at UW Health in Madison. Now, 2 operations later, Lexi can hear everything. Powerful minds, compassionate care, amazing results. UW Health. Remarkable.
There are 5,757,564 residents of the state of Wisconsin. At Pick and Save, we're proud to be here for every one of them, keeping the quality up and the prices down. Because 14,023 of those Wisconsinites are us. Pick and Save, where Wisconsin saves on groceries.
Shotgun formation, snap to Leidner. Pressure coming. Down goes Leidner. Vince Beagle and T.J. Watt.
15th straight year the Badgers are playing in a bowl game, extending what has been the longest Big Ten streak for a while now. Next best is 9, held by Nebraska, and remember a few of those were as a member of the Big 12. So a lot of consistency in getting into postseason play. And as we speak now, or as viewers watch this, you're a couple weeks removed from the banquet, from the announcement of the All Big Ten players. That was pretty cool the night of the banquet to see. I think he was a little surprised, Leo Musso be named team MVP. I mean, this really was or is the definition of a team, but it's a pretty good story. Everybody has a good one, but I think Leo Musso has one that matches up with most stories, doesn't he?
You're right about that. I mean, everyone has their story, and it's the story of their career. If you're a senior, it's the story of the year, and it was one of those, voted by the team, and the number of guys that got votes fit this team, because you could take any one of our games, and I don't know if you'd have the same MVP from that game, and yet Moose clearly was voted by his teammates to be the MVP. And what's beautiful about him, he wasn't expecting it. It wasn't one of those, and the first words out of his mouth were, "This is really a team award." And I think that embodied what this group is and this team is, and it was neat. And I was part of his recruiting, and I actually tried to steal him out of the state. We just went, and yet to follow his path and what he did, and truly what he meant to this team, not just in the field. That's when it was like, he's deserving of this. And what also was great was there's a lot of other guys that were deserving, but it was a clear choice, and it was fitting. And I loved Moose's what he said afterwards, because it kind of shows you why people think so highly of him.
You mentioned you tried to steal him from the state. Can you tell when you're recruiting someone, maybe you don't have a perfect average, but you get a general idea if that player has the it factor who can help you on and off the field?
You get an idea, I think, and certainly, with Leo being in, from Wanakee, and we followed that program pretty closely, and he was around. The more you get to know a person, I think you get an idea if they have what you're saying, the it factor. And I think the other thing that helps is if you can see them go through any types of adversity. And that's what you can't predict. How did Moose handle his situation here? Really this year being the 1 year as a starter. And yet, when they do go through adversity or do go through things that maybe it's not exactly what they thought it would be, and if they come out the other end better and stronger as a person from it, that's the it that you're talking about. And so I think if you know them in high school and know that maybe it wasn't always a smooth path, it may seem funny to others, but that's actually an attractive quality that we look for in recruits, is if it hasn't been all easy for them, because it's not going to be all easy when they get here. So it's you get an idea, certainly.
The representation from your team, from the guys, a number of players who are academic All Big Ten, on field All Big Ten. We're talking about long lists. It's a long roll call, which is a nice thing. It says a lot about what they do. As people scoff sometimes at the term student athletes. Maybe they shouldn't, because you have a ton of examples of guys who really fit that.
We got a ton of them here, and you're right that you hear it all the time. People scoff, they're not going. Kids here are doing both, and to do them at a high level is impressive. And I think that helps give us one of our competitors. They are doing both, and there is balance in their lives. And I still think if you're balanced personally, you got a chance to excel. And I don't think you can take shortcuts in the classroom, and you can't take them on the field. And so I think those qualities that allow them to be successful on and off the field are the same qualities.
As you would say, the story of this team is still being written. But to this point, you would use the term they leave it all out there. Would I be right in saying, it sure looks like it from where we see it, from the press box, that for 13 games, they have left it all out there? Maybe the result isn't what they've always wanted, but the effort can't fault.
Yeah, it hasn't been, and we talk a lot about that. Like if we're having a coach effort, or if they're not doing it, then shame on all of us. And just because you say it doesn't mean it happens. And I think that's they've done that each game, and really each week in preparing for those games. And you know, we are lucky. We got one more opportunity, and for us to give ourselves the best chance, we have to do that. That's part of, we need to do that as a team. And yet I think the kids expect it from each other. They certainly expect it from themselves, and that makes coaching them a fun group to coach.
This ought to be a very interesting game here. Western Michigan undefeated, so I don't think we need to talk about how good this team is. It's a very good team. A lot of stats jumped out, but their turnover margin to me, plus 19. I mean, they have a great receiver, NFL caliber, some other players who are probably NFL caliber as well, but they protect the ball, right? Only 7 turnovers, and they turn people over. That's pretty impressive.
That is a huge, remarkable stat that they've got going, and I think they do. I think they're a talented team. You know, they've got, you know, certainly the receiver is the first one everyone's going to talk about, but the more you watch them, you see really good football players, and I do believe they're well coached. And the takeaway, protecting the football, that stat about the turnover ratio is a reflection of coaching and I think talent they have. They've got guys that can create takeaways, create turnovers, and they're doing a great job of protecting the football. And you see a talented football team that's well coached, and it doesn't, I don't care what it is to go undefeated, they've got something special as a team going on. And that's why I think our players are excited to play them. You know, they know that it's a good team. You know, they see that. It's not one we had to make up, you know, as they're watching the film. Hey, they see that it is, and they know, we think we've got a special thing going. And I think everyone recognizes they do too, and that's where we're excited to play him.
Yeah, Corey Davis is the receiver. We're talking about 91 catches for him so far this season, 18 touchdowns. Zach Terrell, their quarterback, incredible touchdown to interception ratio here. He just doesn't throw picks. The Cotton Bowl itself, what a tradition. I mean, you don't really have to go back far to understand how important it is, but I mean, we're close to the same age here. That's just what you did, right? New Year's Day growing up, that's one of the 4 that you tuned into all the time.
Absolutely, it was one of them. I remember the first bowl game that I ever got to go see. My brother was working with the Southwest Conference, and we went to the Cotton Bowl, and just walking in there, that was a big deal. And we remember as kids, I mean, that was kind of the early on, and then you'd watch the Rose Bowl, and that night it would be the Orange Bowl. And that's where I'm excited. And we're going to, you know, we've done some things, and we're going to continue to make sure our players understand, you know, the history of the Cotton Bowl and the number of great players, great teams that have participated in that. We've got one, you know, Sitch's dad, you know, played in maybe one of the more famous Cotton Bowls with the, what they call chicken soup.
For Joe Montana.
Yeah, Joe Montana, but he had a block punt and scored off of that. I was talking to him a couple weeks ago at the banquet, and he was, back then they used to, if you were over the age of whatever it was, 19 or something, they give you a car for the week.
Like, those were the days.
Yeah, it's like, you're in Texas right now, and it was not just a car, I think it was a big old Continental or something.
Sweet.
Yeah, so he was talking about that, but, you know, want to gather from him, what did he remember? And so that's pretty cool when you've got a dad and now a son, and for our kids to understand the history of it, it's important, but it is, you know, this is one of those bowls that the committee selects the team, and to have the opportunity to play in any bowl game, you know, you let it off. You appreciate it. It doesn't just happen, you know, the 15 straight years. But then to be able to play in one like this, and for these, you know, our players and fans, you know, haven't been to this one, pretty cool.
They say, from everything I've heard from teams that have been there in the past, they really do treat the players well now today as well, and the families, they take care of them. There's always a lot of activities for a bowl. You guys will be out there about a week before the game. Do you encourage all your guys, hey, take advantage of every opportunity, or how do you approach that with your players?
You know, I was fortunate to, my first bowl game was the Alamo Bowl when we won in overtime, Brooks.
That's right.
And Coach Alvarez, you know, truly believed in the reward of playing in a bowl game, and you have to enjoy it. And I want our kids, you know, this may be their only trip to Dallas, and there is a reward component to bowl games, and we've got to make sure they enjoy it. But at the same time, you're going to remember the bowl and what happened on the field. You know, I've been a part of ones we won, and boy, that was a great bowl game. And we've gone into some other great bowl games that you didn't win, and there's a little bit of taste. And so I think you've got to balance it, and that's where the older guys got to help the younger guys, because I think you have to do both. You have to enjoy the trip, but then you have to play, and you want to play well.
Yeah, last year, obviously, a prime example. Great site, great bowl game with a history of its own. The Holiday Bowl, the Badgers beat USC. Rafael Gaglianone with a late field goal. Jack Sitchie with the back-to-back-to-back sacks. That's kind of stuff you remember right away. It'll be the Badgers in Western Michigan. Noon kick at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas on January 2nd. Coach returns to Great Day and Great Question of the Week as we roll on with the Badgers Sports Report.
With this level of intelligence, it's a supercomputer. With this grade of protection, it's a fortress. And with this standard of luxury, it's an oasis. Introducing the completely redesigned E-Class 4MATIC. It's everything you need it to be and more. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Think About It is brought to you by UW Health, a cornerstone partner of Wisconsin Athletics.
I'd have to say, though, honestly, Lambeau was probably, so far, playing in Dallas and playing in all these unique NFL stadiums, Lambeau had just a special feel to it. Just the history that, that's gone on at that stadium, with Lombardi and, being, like I said, being that, this state is home number 2 to me, the Packers and all that stuff like that. It truly was a tremendous and fun stadium to play in.
Camp Randall. I'd say Camp Randall. This is where I've always wanted to play, and every time I play here, it's one of those places that blows my mind.
Probably at my high school stadium. I think that'd be sweet to play in my hometown. I know it probably wouldn't fit the people that I want to be there, but just to be able to play a college football game there would be crazy, and we'd have a packed house, I know that.
I think Wrigley Field. I'm a huge Cubs fan. I think playing at Wrigley would be really cool. I was there when Northwestern played Illinois there, I think like 5 or 10 years ago. It was really awesome, so I would say Wrigley Field.
Wembley Stadium in England or something like that. You hear about all the great things that go on there, whether it's a soccer game or a tennis match, so I like to play there.
This one just kind of popped in my head. Maybe we could get like an underwater thing going, maybe. Just thinking outside of the box.
Better hurry if you want to save on a new Nissan. Get to Nissan's Go Rogue year-end event for last-minute savings on the new Rogue and the rest of Nissan's lineup. Take on any Galaxy. See Rogue One in theaters. Hurry in and get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2016 Rogue or the 2016 Nissan Altima. Get to Nissan, proud partner of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Go Badgers!
There are 5,757,564 residents of the state of Wisconsin. At Pick and Save, we're proud to be here for every one of them. Keeping the quality up and the prices down. Because 14,023 of those Wisconsinites are us. Pick and Save, where Wisconsin saves on groceries.
This is what collaboration looks like. This is what happens when a cardiologist in Appleton works step in step with specialists at UW Health in Madison. You see, when Terry's condition required a second opinion, his doctor turned to the cardiothoracic team at UW Health. Together, we made sure Terry got the care and the heart transplant he needed. Powerful minds, compassionate care, amazing results. UW Health, remarkable.
Introducing. It's what Mercedes-Benz has been doing since 1886. Introducing the world to the first automobile. Introducing over 100,000 patented breakthroughs. Introducing innovations in performance, safety, and pure driving pleasure. This year, we're introducing the youngest, most dynamic lineup in the world. All from the car company that needs no introduction. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
This Senior Salute is brought to you by Hyundai.
There comes a point in every football player's career
when they have to choose to hang it up. For senior offensive lineman Dan Voltz, that point came after days of deliberating during fall camp. His love for the game had to take a back seat to his long-term health.
It was a tough decision to make, just because, like anybody that plays football at this level, you play the game because you love it. It's a big part of your life. Coach Rudolph and Coach Chryst were the main coaches I talked to, and they kind of helped me through every step of the process. There's a lot that kind of goes into making a decision like that. They made it really easy for me just to know that they were on my side, so I'm really grateful for that.
Even though he wouldn't be lining up with the team anymore, Voltz, who is pursuing his master's in kinesiology, has remained a big part of the program as an assistant to the offensive line, lending his experience and his voice to the younger men behind him.
I think any time that you've been a player and been a major contributor like Dan has, and you're not being able to compete, I think it's a hard transition. And I don't know if I've seen anyone embrace the change like he did. He did a tremendous job communicating and talking to the young guys. He felt most comfortable talking with the centers, like with Michael and with Tyler Biotich, the younger guys. But he did a great job, in practices, working and communicating with them, and then did a great job in the weight room. So he was around those guys all the time, and I think they felt that. They knew how much he cared, and I think it motivated them to want to do great things.
Even though Voltz was a key member of the 2013 and 14 offensive lines that set school records for total yards and rushing yards per game, when asked about his most fond memories, Voltz thought first about his time spent behind the scenes with his current team.
With this group, obviously, I haven't played, but I care a lot about these guys, and I've become pretty good friends with them, so I think they've done a heck of a job this year running the ball. Being able to be around this group kind of brings me back to when I played when I was a little bit younger, and it's been really fun to watch. I spent a lot of time here. I've dedicated a lot of time, sacrificed some things, and I wouldn't take it back if I could do it again. I've enjoyed every minute of being a Wisconsin Badger, and when I talk to people, that's usually the first thing I tell them is about my experience here, and it's something I'm really proud of.
Wow, you're really festive?
Well, this time of year, there's plenty to be festive about.
Like what?
You smell like nutmeg.
Like the Hyundai Holiday Sales Event. It's your last chance of the year to save big on every new Hyundai.
Oh, I'm feeling more festive already.
Wait, did you say save big?
Yep.
Oh, I think I hear holiday music now.
Oh, no, that's just my ringtone.
Better is the reason to buy Hyundai. This is just one of the reasons to buy now. Get up to $2,500 off the new Sonata during Hyundai holidays.
Whether you're out there training for a big event or you're just trying to stay in shape, I have a bit of advice. It's important to remember that what happens after the workout is just as important as what happens during the workout. My advice? Be sure to refuel with low-fat chocolate milk. It has the perfect mixture of protein, carbs, and electrolytes to help you refuel, rehydrate, and build muscle. In Wisconsin, athletes win with low-fat chocolate milk. And you can too. To learn more, visit winwithchocolatemilk.com.
Better hurry if you want to save on a new Nissan. Get to Nissan's Go Rogue year-end event for last-minute savings on the new Rogue and the rest of Nissan's lineup. Take on any Galaxy. See Rogue One in theaters. Hurry in and get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2016 Rogue or the 2016 Nissan Altima. Get to Nissan, proud partner of the Wisconsin Badgers.
Go Badgers!
The Badger Sports Report is presented by Pick and Save, where Wisconsin saves on Badger game days. By the Dairy Farm Families of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board. Presented by Zimbrick European. Test drive the all-new E-Class at Zimbrick European today. By UW Health, UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Time now for the final Great Dane question of the week for head coach Paul Chryst, and it comes from Sam from Seymour. Coach, he wants to know, he's really looking ahead right now. He wants to know, when do you and your staff start looking at next year's opponents? It all starts with Utah State early September.
Sam is looking ahead.
He's way
but you know what?
ahead.
It's you do, and we were just talking about it with our video department. You know, make sure we're getting them in, and I think that we'll go through February, and that's the recruiting first Wednesday in February, and then we'll take that next month, and we'll spend a lot of time looking at ourselves, self-scout, and then really right before spring ball, and certainly after spring ball in the summer, we'll spend a lot of time on our opponents. But we want to do enough before spring ball that if there's anything that has to change or things that we know are coming up that we've got to prepare our kids for. So we'll get a jump on it end of February, beginning of March, and then we'll focus on spring ball. But even during spring ball, we'll start looking at our opponents, particularly the ones that we know a lot about. And then there'll be a couple teams maybe with a new coordinator, new coaching staff. Then we'll try to gather some information and start looking at their old tapes. So it's coming around the corner, but we're going to focus on the bowl game first.
First at Western Michigan
Exactly.
first, yeah. Never too soon to look ahead to September 1st right here at Camp Randall Stadium. We thank you for joining us all season long following Badger football. We jump back into the basketball mode next week, but remember, noon kick down at AT&T Stadium on January 2nd. The Badgers in Western Michigan in the Cotton Bowl. Thanks for watching.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some. A shiver, felt by many, until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting the world on its axis.
Fresh Daily. It's as much about what we do at your neighborhood Quick Trip Fresh Market as what you want to do for your family. So now you can pick up everything on your list, from the fresh milk, bread, and produce you've always known us for, to even more healthy veggies, premium meats, flavorful sides, and you bet, desserts.
Stop in for bananas, baking potatoes, or jumbo onions for just 38 cents a pound. Every day at your neighborhood Quick Trip Fresh Market.
See you next time.